You're watching HuffPost Live. I'm Caitlin Becker. The hit CBS drama The Mentalist follows faux psychic turned criminal investigator Patrick Jane as he hunts down bad guys, especially the elusive Red John. This series is now in its 6th season, and we are so excited to have its star, Simon Baker, here with us today. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so happy to have you here.
Oh, good.
I can't help but notice, though, that you don't sound like the version of you that we see on The Mentalist.
No, I'm from Australia.
That totally freaks me out.
Why does it freak you out?
Because your accent is so good on the show that it freaks me out when I don't hear it. You only sometimes?
So, sometimes I fall out. Depends how tired I am, if there's too many Australians around the set.
Is that what gets you, hearing other people? How many Australians are running around the set of?
People come and visit every now and then. I've also, the 2 executive producers on the show are English.
Okay.
3, actually. So I fall into that every now and then.
Okay. Do you have a hard time mastering the accent? Have you tried other accents other than the American?
No, well, yeah, as soon as I left Australia to work overseas, obviously I knew that I would have to adopt various accents. So it's hard at first. It's just it's musculature of your mouth, to be honest. People speak in a different way, and the soft palate and the hard palate and how they use their tongue. But voices that come from here or the nose, it's, you work with a dialect coach, you'll learn all the science of it.
Well, I don't notice it at all when I watch you. So anytime you think you're falling out of it, rest assured, I have yet to notice.
But do you notice when you're around a bunch of your girlfriends, you all speak in a similar tone?
Maybe. I usually notice when I'm tired or drunk, I sound very New Jersey, which is where I'm from. I get that horrible New Jersey sort of twang that I try to cover up, but it's usually when I'm really tired or I've had quite a few too many glasses of wine. But enough about me.
Okay.
Let's talk about The Mentalist. It's been on for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you loving it? Are you over it? Could you ever be over such an awesome character?
I'm not over the character. I enjoy playing the character. It's a fun character to play. There's always different things that you can bring to it, so it never really gets boring, the playing of it. 6 years is a long time for a network television show, particularly a show like ours, where we've balanced this element of procedural drama with serialized drama at the same time. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not so successfully, but we're still there, and network television's at times a very difficult slog because it's just the sheer number of episodes that we have to produce a year.
Well, the show is wildly popular, and we have so many of your fans in our comment here, and everyone is talking about the identity of Red John. Mm-hmm. I have a clip because the identity of Red John is going to be revealed this season, and I want to take a look at a scene from a recent episode.
I brought you 5 together for a reason. Some of you may know that reason. Some of you may have guessed. But one of you here is Red John. Ooh la la.
That's a lot of suspense right there. So for people who don't know the background of Red John, can you just give me a quick...
Well, the whole background for the show is that my character is made a living as a psychic.
But not a real psychic.
Well, he's fraudulent, and one would argue that there's no such thing as a real psychic. But he played himself off as real and made a living doing that, and in the course of doing that, he went on a television program, not dissimilar to this, and suggested that he knew who the identity of this serial killer and gave sort of broad strokes of who this person was as a psychic. And as a result, Red John murdered his wife and child. So he's been sort of seeking revenge ever since. The character is obviously full of self-hatred and wants to, in some way, find redemption.
Is it hard for you to get into that mental space as an actor? Because when you watch the show, when you're dealing with this sort of these Red John moments where you go back to, your character goes back to, like you said, that self-loathing, and then you compare it to when your character is using the sort of, that like what you call the fraudulent version of being a psychic to help solve other crimes and the procedural aspect of it. Is it hard to get yourself mentally into that dark place for this one aspect or facet of your character?
Yeah, the difficult part is the balance of some stories that we have, some episodes that they always have the takedown scene, which sometimes is quite sort of absurd, and to play some kind of light, absurd moment and then walk from that scene into a scene that is meant to be heartfelt and earnest, which is about pain and sorrow. That's the hard balance. That's the difficult balance. It's not easy.
I've got some questions here. We have someone whose avatar here is Simon Baker, mentalist. They would like to know, I know you are not allowed to say who Red John is, but how far from the truth am I? Stiles is Red John, but his recent crimes have been committed by Hafner. Bertram, McAllister, and Smith are corrupt, but they only run Tiger conspiracy. Mahoney's interview gave me this idea. Totally far-fetched?
No, this guy's smart. I'm not saying that any of that's completely right, but
it's very well thought out, though,
he's
right?
thinking about stuff.
Very, very, very well thought out. I think a couple of other ones. Okay, here we go. Sundown Crest wants to know, have you ever thought about starting your own clothing line, especially suits, since Patrick Jane is always wearing them, and you, of course, look good in a nice suit?
I should have worn a suit. Have I ever thought about it? Actually, to be honest, I have thought about it, but not in that regard, just because more than anything, it's very hard to find. I think men's clothing is kind of a tricky area.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because I think it very quickly gets a little too frilly and fancy, and I don't think that's very that doesn't really work for me. I mean, anyone that has a clothing line at all, it's all about their taste and their sort of sense of style. And I think for me, with men's clothing, it's always been about sort of what is sort of classic. I don't want to look like
Justin Bieber?
No, I think that's impossible. He's about a quarter of my age, but I don't. I'd keep my shirt on too. But to find something that works for you, that's simple, that is not sort of just repeating the same thing all the time, is an idea. But is it something that I'll ever do? Probably not.
Well, you always look great.
Oh,
you always look great on the red carpet. The ladies love you.
You haven't seen me when I kick around the house.
You're not dressed in a suit when you kick around the house?
Nah. Although I don't, I actually do. I don't mind a well-cut suit just for casual wear, but I never wear it around the house.
What do you wear around the house?
I'm pretty much a, like jeans and a t-shirt guy. Rarely even shoes.
Not even wearing shoes for the wife? You've been married for quite some time.
For the wife? Why?
For the wife? I don't know. Maybe you don't.
The wife would prefer me not to wear shoes in the house.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Probably true. You've been married for a while now.
Yeah.
Does she ever get weirded out about you being sort of sexualized by your fans a bit?
No. I don't think so.
No, not at all? I think I'd be
I
jealous.
don't think she'd ever. I think mentioning that she was weirded out would probably put her in an awkward position. She's got a little too much pride for that. Yeah.
Understandable. Okay, we have a video comment here, a question from one of my favorite commenters, Josh. Let's take a listen.
Hi, Caitlin. Hi, Simon. I've been a huge fan of The Mentalist since season 1, and I was just curious, what has been your favorite or most memorable moment while making the show? Thanks.
Anything come to mind right away?
Probably my favorite. The second episode I directed was my favorite moment because I just had a great time on it. I really enjoyed the script. I really enjoyed the casting of it. I had enough time to prep it and enough time to cut it. I'm in the middle of cutting an episode that I directed now, and I have 2 days.
So what are you doing sitting with me here? We could have maybe brought it. We could have done a little editing while we're here.
Exactly. What am I doing here?
What is it about the call of directing that gets so many actors? Because so many actors want to get it, and then they get in there and they get into the director's chair and they just love it.
I don't know I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else. I can only speak for me. But for me, so much of this show, has been a part of, a big part of me. I've contributed a lot to the character, and I have a particular take on a lot of the stuff. So it was just really a natural progression. Why? I don't know how it is for anyone else. I don't want it. I certainly don't want it for the power. I just want it because I enjoy doing it, because when I read a script, I visualize it straight away. I can't. People will talk to me about we're shooting scene 7, and it means nothing to me. If there's a number, just what happens in it? The story clicks in my head, and I see the images. Even when I read a film script, it's always been that way, and I've had to stop myself from seeing the images to be directed by someone else.
Is there a medium for acting for you that you prefer, be it film or TV or stage?
No, I'm not. I'm not sort of picky about that or snobby about that. They're all very different. Television is interesting because you get a lot of practice, because you're flying, you're hurtling along when you're doing television.
And you get to grow, because with a lot of seasons, your character can grow.
You get a lot of time, like just sheer time in front of a camera. I've shot over 120, I think, episodes. Malcolm Gladwell theory, I've probably done nearly 20,000 hours.
Are you surprised at how the show has taken off and how many people sort of resonate with such a dark theme? Mandy Patinkin famously said that he left Criminal Minds because his head was in such a dark space with the content of the show, and there's been a huge uptick in crime dramas and serial killers and all that stuff on television. Does it shock you that people are craving that kind of drama on TV?
I don't think people are craving the darkness of the drama. I think people are craving characters that they can connect with, right? I think people like the idea of procedure because it presents a story with a beginning, middle, and an end. So there's a resolution with every episode, and I think people also crave that serialized nature of television because they like the long form. I don't think it's really about the subject matter, the darkness of it. You're either invested in the characters or you're not invested in the characters. It just so happens with my show, the central character is a sort of a tragic figure, but he's also an heroic figure because he's got a sense of humor. And that's what balances it, the light and the shade of the character.
So what's next for you? What else are you working on? Do you need like a comedy to lighten things up, or do you want to just get out of here so you can go edit that episode?
I just do want to get out of here and go and edit that episode.
All right. And
it has been playing on me for days. Since I got on the plane to come over here, it was sort of bugging me.
Well, then I will absolutely let you go. There's no reason, because if that episode is not good, I am not going to be responsible for it. It's on you. Simon, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure. And make sure that you catch The Mentalist on Sundays at 10, 9 Central on CBS.